Got some pretty disturbing, scary stories from you from Nightmare Files today. Make sure to subscribe to Nightmare Files. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos, and let's get into these.
My name is Karen, and
Hi,
I'm a
Karen.
stay-at-home mom and in charge of my neighborhood watch program.
Oh,
In
that actually
2006,
is very
we had a
suitable
surge
for
of
the
new
name.
people moving into our neighborhood. It was
Okay.
definitely changing around here. There were times when I'd wish people would just move back to where they came from. Out of
Oh,
nowhere,
no.
the house burglaries and overall crime skyrocketed.
Okay.
I felt responsible due to my high position within our neighborhood.
Sure.
I'm a very important person. My husband Chad and his friend Kyle started to get involved in the
Sounds
neighborhood
like a
watch
Karen.
due to the influx of crime. There was a night where Kyle came running inside our house frantically, telling us to load up because he saw someone who looked suspicious running around the neighborhood with a hoodie and shorts on. Kyle told us the direction that he was running and where we could cut him off at. We went to a location where we could wait for this guy to run past. Chad then said something very disturbing to me. He said that he's tired of these people moving to his neighborhood and taking over, that he needs to make something happen, make it safe again.
Oh, no.
We heard someone running, then Kyle and
Vigilante
Chad jumped from
justice.
behind the bushes, and the man stopped running. Kyle asked the man, "Who are you? Where are you going? And where are you coming from?" The man looked confused and pulled off his headphones from his ear. The man then reached in his pocket. I screamed gun, and Kyle pulled his AR from the bushes, pointed at the guy, and squeezed the trigger. But it jammed. The man pulled his phone out, and that's all, just his phone. Then he ran away.
He was just
Kyle
a regular
and Chad
dude
yelled out loud
jogging.
that he better run away and go back to the city. They also said that the man and his friends won't break in into people's houses anymore.
Lunatic.
The next day, we found out that a few teens that lived next door to us that we knew very well were arrested. I was mistaken. So was my husband and his friend. We thought the people committing crimes were the new people from the city that just moved here.
Can you imagine if you
It
were
was the
shot
teens that
that
grew up
dude?
here from when they were babies. I always think, what would have happened if that gun didn't jam?
I know.
There would have been a murdered innocent teenager. It would have been my fault for screaming. Please never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
I know this isn't scary, but every time I think about it, it terrifies me.
Oh my gosh. No, I got the chills just thinking about it, man. Like, you get fed up with some stuff, kind of like, you know, aggravating neighbors or something like that. Things can really trigger you and make
I'm
you
going to do
make
the
rash
best I can on
decisions.
remembering
Thankfully,
this
he didn't do
event that my
nothing
cousin
stupid.
told me. This happened in the late 80s. A first cousin of mine and his friend were in the park when they saw a guy doing some weird things that he shouldn't be doing in public by a bridge, if you know what I mean. Being young teens, they started making fun of the guy. I believe he tried to get them to come join him, but eventually he chased them and vowed that if he caught them, he would kill them. They went home and told my uncle, who's 6'5" and
so
looked
he
pretty
was doing
fit at the
some
time.
inappropriate stuff.
He came back to the park and looked for the guy with them. I don't recall exactly what happened after, but the cops were called. The guy was found and charged with enticing a minor, or something along that line.
Right.
As my aunt told me, in 1991, she and my uncle started getting calls from reporters. They were asking about charges against a guy in the news, if his name was familiar, and what occurred with their son. You see, my aunt, uncle, and their 3 kids lived in Wisconsin. The guy my cousin and his friends ran into was none other than Jeffrey Dahmer. My cousin ended up on an episode of the Phil Donahue Show with Tracy Edwards, the guy who was intended to be the victim but escaped and ended up getting Jeffrey Dahmer caught. Now I'm curious.
Wow.
I needed to call them and get a refresher of events since that was almost 30 years ago.
That's so freaking...
I wanted to see if they still had the tape from that show or if something's on YouTube.
Right.
I remember my cousin talking about this on the Donahue Show and being very nervous. I kind of felt bad for him.
Well, I guess.
But I still think it's crazy that Jeffrey Dahmer almost got my cousin.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. So he was doing something inappropriate to himself, and some kids snuck up on him, started clowning him because he was doing something like that.
I was 24 at the
And it
time and
turns out
driving
he
to
was
work.
Jeffrey Dahmer, and he said
It was
he
me and my
gonna
little
kill him.
sister who happened to
They
be
got
working
away.
with me overnight doing housekeeping. On our way to work, she got a phone call saying that something was wrong with my niece. She had to call off, which of course is something she did very frequently. I was forced to turn around and drop her back off home, and I had to head to work. Since I had to turn around, I realized I was going to be late, so I had to take a shortcut. Allow me to explain about the area in which my job is.
If
It's
it
pretty
looks like
much in a
this,
big building in the middle of a suburban area, covered in
okay.
complete darkness. I wanted to speed up to get to work on time, but couldn't because deer tend to jump out in front of your cars out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Almost near work, I came to a light and waited for it to turn green when I felt a slight tap come from a car behind me.
Oh,
I said to myself, oh shit, not now.
you gotta.
I pulled
yeah.
over to check both my car and the person that hit me.
No brakes?
I got out and walked to the car and was asking was he okay, thinking he was falling asleep driving, but he never got out.
It was a predator.
So I approached the driver door to ask if the person was okay. They just had the window crack enough to just show their head, but they said nothing. I said that there's no damage, and I think I'm just gonna go. As I got near the rear of my car, I heard a car door open. I turned around and seen that it was a guy that got out of the car, but he still said nothing. The next thing I did was something I regret to this day, which was walk back towards him until I noticed something. His hands were extremely pale, and they were white, but his face was black, which seemed off, unnaturally black. I thought it was a mask, but you could see parts of his skin showing. At that point, being in the area I was in made me nervous because I was thinking he was wearing blackface and tapped my car because of my skin color. The moment I was about to walk away, in one swift motion, he grabbed a rifle out of his car and pointed it directly at my head. I kept saying to myself, I was going to die and no one's going to know because I'm all alone.
Right.
I tried making conversation with that guy, saying, you don't have to do this. Next, he started crying uncontrollably and hopped in his car and drove off. I stood in darkness near my car, not moving a muscle, just being relieved that I'm alive. I soon got in my car and made it to my job about an hour late. Everyone was asking why I was so late, but I kept the situation to myself and only told my family, who was worried sick.
Jeez.
I now work a different shift and get off at night rather than go to work at night.
Yeah.
But I avoid any hidden roads when I'm driving home.
You know, this has been me all the way for a long time, guys. I don't like back roads. I really don't. My wife loves to take back roads. I like to, it's just, if something happens.
My name is Amy, and this happened when I was 16. I attended your junior debate competition as a judge, along with my other debate buddies from my school.
That's a creepy looking.
When we got to the hotel, we found out that we had communal showers on each floor instead of private bathrooms.
Okay.
We were fine with it, as we were just too focused on preparing for the competition.
I hate
the next day,
showers.
I went to the room for the first competition and met this team that came in early. One of the boys had caught my eye. He was very good looking. It was a while before everything started, so he came up to me to talk.
Okay.
We were having fun and just chatting about our schools when I noticed that a supervisor came in. Every room needed to have an adult supervisor to ensure that the teams were being judged fairly.
Right.
They didn't wear anything special to set them apart from all the visitors, just normal clothes.
Okay.
This lady looked to be in her late 20s, wearing a dirty flower printed dress. She had messy blonde hair and had bags under her eyes,
with it.
as if she hadn't slept in days.
Right.
I noticed an awful smell as soon as she came in. I noticed she kept glaring at me, but I didn't pay any attention to it. After the competition, I went to the hotel and my friend and I decided to shower in the communal bathroom.
Okay.
Suddenly, the lights turned off. I thought it was my friend playing a prank on me, and I yelled at her to turn the lights back on. No one replied.
Oh my God.
Then I saw a shadow in the front of my stall. I just laughed until she started banging on the door. I was startled and kept quiet until I had enough and yelled, "Hey, quit it." I waited for what seemed like hours, and then I went outside. To my horror, I looked in the mirror and I saw a pair of eyes staring at me from the half-open stall. I screamed and ran back to my room.
Dude.
I told my friend what happened, but she just laughed it off.
I couldn't fight butt naked,
I tossed and turned the whole night, but eventually went to sleep. In the middle of the night, I woke up to hot air being blown in my face. I was paralyzed, but managed to look in the corner of my eye, and I saw it. It was the same woman from the debate competition. Her bloodshot eyes were just staring at me, her smile beaming wide, showing her white but crooked teeth. She had her fingers on my bed, peeping out with just her head.
What?
She whispered in a raspy voice, "Stay away from things that are not yours, or I'll cut you." I screamed again, waking my friend up. She saw the woman run outside, leaving the door wide open. My clothes that I had hanging out to dry for tomorrow had cuts in them. My skirt had a huge hole in the crotch,
Oh my
and my white
God.
shirt had horror written on it. I called my friend and my parents
Wow.
crying as our chaperone called the cops. They came soon and caught the woman hiding in the fire escape. They arrested her and questioned her. The cops told me that she said I was flirting with her boyfriend. They also questioned the boy that I met.
Oh
He
my
had no
gosh.
idea who she was, but admitted that he had seen her following him all day.
She
But he
was
thought that
just
she was a
off her
supervisor or a
rocker.
chaperone.
Right.
Turned out she was a schizo with previous charges of assault.
Wow.
To this day, I never want to go to a communal shower ever again.
No. I never wanted to go in general. Like, communal showers are just gross, man. Like, don't get me wrong. A lot of people will use communal showers with clothes, like, you know, a bathing suit or something like that. You know, I never really cared to do it. It's just, it's so uncomfortable to get naked in front of people. At the health clubs that I used to go to, you know, I'd walk in the bathroom sometimes. Guys would just like blow drying their crotch areas with their legs propped up on the sink butt naked. I'm like, what the heck are we doing here, man? Jeez, it's so uncomfortable. At any rate, guys, these were some pretty creepy stories, man, especially the first one. Woo! Nightmare Files. Make sure to subscribe to them. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.